PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is a mental health condition caused by a traumatic experience. 1 in 8 UK armed forces personnel were seen by military healthcare services for a mental health related reason. Tell us about the purpose of the Mind's Rest and why you wanted to build it.
All right, so it's probably better to start with my background. So I joined in the army in 1989, many moons ago, and in the battalion in 1990. During the time of my career, 22 years in total, I did 8 operational tours, and during that time, all the tours themselves have a certain mental toll, and I think it was the final tour in Afghanistan where I was able to sort of identify my own kind of post-traumatic stress disorder where it affected me. And the interesting thing was I was trained at that time to identify it in my own men and women that were under my command at the time when I was a company sergeant major. And it was when I returned back from that tour, I started to display certain behaviours that I'm kind of looking for in my own men and women. So as such, it got quite bad, and drinking wise and getting in trouble and so on. But I then sort of sought help. Services that were available to me at the time in Woolwich, and when I went there, it was quite a clinical environment. There were people in uniform at reception, and actually the people that were delivering the counselling as well were in uniform, albeit there were a few civilians there. But primarily, for me, the issue was those individuals were the cause or the root cause of why I was there in the first place, albeit that, it was a career that I chose. But that didn't help me at the time. And so I've always been on a mission really to kind of change that environment for people with that particular disorder. It wasn't until like the recent lockdown where back in October, where Dave, one of my best friends, Dave, we were sat in the garden and we were just sort of talking about things and reminiscing, looking at a patch in the corner of the garden which would never grow any grass, and sort of we were talking about how veterans during the lockdown process would probably, were on their own with their own thoughts for so long. A lot of them wouldn't have contact with their families and friends and so on. That this would be a really poignant time. It made me think, what could we do to potentially help with that? And we had the grand idea of building a bar. But the point about the bar would be that it would be an environment, hence when I started the conversation around not going to a clinical environment, but going somewhere where they'd be familiar to someone, where they feel relaxed. And that was kind of the premise of the idea. We wanted to build somewhere where people could come and talk and feel comfortable rather than being in the clinical environment. So that was the embryo of the idea.
How important is it that veterans like yourself have a place like this that they can come and speak with someone regarding any problems?
I think it's massively important. It's very unique. I haven't heard of anything like it before, and there may well be something, I don't know, but I don't know of anything, certainly in the Midlands, that does a similar thing. I mean, to give you some sort of context, since 2000, there's been 308 suicides, and that equates to around 16 a year, which equates to around about 1.5 to 2 suicides a month, and that continues to spike. It's really important that we've got these kinds of initiatives in these places where people can come and talk to like-minded people, and but on a one-to-one basis. So there's a difference between having group sessions, going to the pub and meeting people, and having sessions with mates that you haven't seen for ages. And there's a difference between having a one-to-one where you can really let loose and talk about what you're feeling. A lot of these individuals, regardless of their build, good friends that are accomplished boxers, ultimate fighters, hard men, people, SAS men. It doesn't really matter what your background is. You're all human beings and you're individual in terms of whatever mental health issues you're going through. All problems you're going through. It doesn't have to necessarily be mental health issues. So it's really important that they can come somewhere where they feel safe.
How many veterans on average suffer from PTSD?
Officers and statistics will be able to tell you how many veterans have gone and got sought medical help for PTSD, right? But the amount of PTSD that exists that is never revealed is insurmountable. I'll tell you that for nothing. So the amount of people that have told me, I think I've got it, but I ain't going to go and see anyone, is incalculable. So the point I'm making is that it's a very difficult thing to say. There were people who live with PTSD for the rest of their lives, never have any sort of adverse effects. but live within themselves and have this niggle that there's something's not quite right. And they can manage that, but there are other people that will go to the complete extreme. Really, the answer to that is I don't know, but I know that there is a lot more than we know just from statistics that are gathered from the government or the MOD.
What are your future plans for the Minds Rest?
We're looking at just seeing where COVID goes first. Clearly, I'd love to have booking in to come and speak to us, tomorrow. But clearly, we're under guidelines of the government, so we need to just wait for that. Secondly, there's a number of things we need to get in place. I know that having spoken to a number of professionals, so this isn't just like kind of we've thrown it together and now we're just going to invite people in. There are other things that we need to look at just to make sure that we're covered both from the individuals that come and see us and from our perspective. So we're getting that in place now. We built the structure. Now we've got to kind of do the governance that sits behind it. And then talk to professionals. What we're saying is, this isn't a counselling service, so it's not a professional counselling service in such that they wouldn't come here and get a course of counselling. This is really about coming here and chatting to a like-minded person that's try and understand, kind of where they're coming from in terms of wherever the problem that is. And like I say, this isn't always about someone who's got, a dependency in whatever that may be. It's not about someone that's got a real serious mental health issue. It might be someone that's got a real problem with writing their CV. You know what I'm saying? So it really does depend on kind of what it is they want to come and talk about. The whole premise around this is that it is a signposting service that we send or we recommend, not send, but we recommend agencies that will be able to help the individuals in whatever way that may be. So there's a lot to do and there's a lot to put together. I mean, but ultimately we need to make sure that the people coming here, they're of the understanding of what we're trying to achieve, and then it's done properly.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, I just want to kind of, I just want to say that I've been blown away by the amount of support that we've had for this project. The elephant in the room, I think, when people watch this is they'll think that, there's a bar being built in someone's garden, and people like Beastsheds, Midlands builders, that have done the primary sort of input into this in terms of materials and stuff. And a lot of it has been borne in terms of my own personal cost, which I have obviously because it's in my garden, but I benefit from that. But the point about it is it's the environment, as you can see, in terms of, the layout of the walls and the way that we've done the pictures and the various things and pieces. It is designed for people to come here and feel comfortable in that environment. A huge amount of thanks to everybody that's done it. Dave Pinney, who's obviously been pivotal to the build, and, the design that we've kind of done every day has changed, and we never had any drawings from the get-go, but we did all that. And from what was an embryo of an idea, a really just a throwaway comment, let's build this, to what we've built today has been testament to the people like, Beastsheds that have provided materials, Midlands Builders that have given us the materials to build it. And hopefully those individual companies will be safe in the knowledge that, if they save one life, just like we've talked about throughout this interview, then it's worth that kind of investment. So all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that anybody that this venture helps will have the same opinion.